I'm supposed to be the techie, and I've got like old school paper notes, and the mayor's on his phone going, yeah, I'm just reviewing what I want to say, you know. This is Freaky Friday over here. All right. Welcome back once again to the York Region Area Collision Conference. We've had many exciting announcements today, and the next ones are no exception. I'm super excited to introduce the City of Markham, which is joining York Region's Collision Activation Program today to announce a number of new tech investments in Markham, Canada's high-tech capital. For decades, Markham has built a global brand as a center of innovation in York Region, Ontario, Canada. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Markham Mayor Frank Scarpitti, who is widely recognized as an innovative and progressive municipal leader. Mayor Scarpitti was elected as mayor of Markham in 2006, making him Markham's second longest running serving mayor, I should say. Mr. Scarpitti has served on both the councils of the City of Markham and York Region for more than 30 years, and he will lead us through Markham's exciting announcements over the course of the next few minutes. Mayor Scarpitti, welcome. Pleasure to see you again.
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the York Region Pavilion here at Collision. And it's always great to be introduced by Mr. Tech himself, Mark Salzman, who I think grew up in York Region, right? So you know what we're all about. And I truly want to welcome one and all and hope that you're having a great time here at Collision. Before I get into some remarks, I just want to introduce a few members of Team Markham, and I'm glad that they're here. First of all, we have Councillor Alan Hall, who's our Chair of Economic Development. Alan, welcome. And we also have our Vice Chair of Economic Development, Helen Usman. And we also have a couple other members of our council. We have Ward 6 Councillor Amanda Colucci, who's here. Welcome, Amanda. And our Ward 8 Councillor Issa Lee as well from Team Markham. And if I could, our Commissioner of Development Services, Arvind Prasad. Chris Rickett, our Director of Economic Development. Chris, wherever you are. And to Wynn and Christina from our Economic Development team, thank you for the great work that you've done. And if I could just take a moment to, and he'll be up here later, the Chair of York Region, Wayne Emerson, is also here. So welcome, Wayne. And also take a moment to recognize the Chief Administrative Officer of York Region, Bruce McGregor, who's also here. Bruce. And the rest of Team York Region, put up your hands. This has been a team effort here, so thank you very much. So certainly welcome, and I hope you've been enjoying yourself here at Collision, and I want to thank the team, congratulate the team that's put on this wonderful conference again. Certainly to see all of the different companies, the entrepreneurs, the innovators who are all gathered here. And again, congratulations to York Region for the incredible work that they've been doing to put the program here at this booth. And to Patty Cosgrave and the team at Collision, we're so thrilled to be back in person, and I think they've done an amazing job. So let's give them a big hand as well. Just want to let you know in terms of the City of Markham, and thank you, Mark, for highlighting the stats about the tech companies that are located. We do have over 1,500 high-tech and life sciences companies located in the City of Markham, and it's brands that you would recognize: AMD, GM Motors with their Canadian Technical Center, Qualcomm, Blue Wrist, Genesis, GE, CGI, Redline Communications, Iristel, and I can assure you many, many more. I won't go through the whole list. And truly the concentration of the tech industry in Markham is envied by many municipalities across Canada, and really is the economic engine of the tech sector in York Region. And collectively, with the companies that are located in York Region and Markham, It is the second largest tech cluster in all of Canada. And that's a real tribute to everyone that has worked at accomplishing that. So the types of companies located in Markham range from large firms to semiconductor to R&D to manufacturing. And it is an array of different companies that really provide the enterprise solutions for many other companies, and growing cluster of auto tech companies that are located and again growing in Markham. And they're working on the next generation of autonomous connected vehicles, and we're proud to have them in our backyard. One of the things that I get asked, and was asked again most recently in an interview, what is Markham's secret, and how have you been able to attract such an impressive roster of leading tech companies? And really, our success is really founded in the private sector. It's founded in tech companies. We didn't have initially a university or a research institute. Now we've been able to attract them to Markham, but really it's been the business community that has grown the tech sector in Markham. So, as an organization, we view the private sector as a very important partner of ours, and really collectively our council and our staff work to attract businesses and make sure not only that our door is open, not only that we roll out the red carpet, but that we work hand in hand with the private sector to meet their needs. And we'll have a couple of examples of that later on in the program. So we worked as well with a number of post-secondary educational institutions, York University, Seneca College. We've also worked with many of the innovation sectors, our own Venture Lab. And by the way, their booth is right across the corridor there. And Venture Lab has done an amazing job at supporting high tech, supporting angel investment, but also have been true leaders in developing the semiconductor space. And I want you to get over there and talk to Venture Lab, because they have an amazing facility, the Hardware Catalyst Initiative, which allows companies to develop that hardware right here in our community. So thanks to not only Venture Lab, but Y-Space, and of course Seneca Helix as well. So just a little bit about Venture Lab. They're on one of Ontario's 17 regional innovation centers, and it's home to Canada's only hardware catalyst. I think someone put spray on this podium. Really appreciate their efforts in the different industries that they work with, AI, clean tech, and a number of other industries. And while I mentioned that we weren't lucky enough to have a post-secondary educational institution in the very start, I can tell you that we're very proud that today York University is building a new campus in the city of Markham. And Seneca College has been a member of our community for many years, and an integral part of the ecosystem. And when York opens up in 2024, they will open their doors to 4,200 students in our community. And their partnership with the City of Markham, and why they decided to come to the City of Markham, was really to give those students that experiential learning experience with high-tech companies that are located in our community. And so with that, we've talked about the partnerships and a little bit of the history. And one of the exciting initiatives that we actually announced right here at Collision 3 years ago was a new innovation district, the Markham Innovation Exchange, otherwise known as the MIX. And this is 1,900 acres, new employment area, focused on innovation, focused on the semiconductor space, focused on research and development, and it is a unique opportunity not only in York Region, but in the GTA and in Ontario. And with that, I'm going to invite up a couple of special people that have been part of our team in developing this concept, Samantha and Josh, and I'd like you to welcome them to our stage. So Mark, I got my cheat notes here on our desk too, and I just want to... Okay, so we had a little adjustment on the set, and we're going to do another one after this session. But first of all, I want to introduce Josh. And Josh Newberger is a partner with Urban Strategies, has a diverse experience in Canada, the UK, and the United States, and has played a key role on the Princeton University campus plan. And he's also been involved with many municipalities across the GTA and in those jurisdictions as well, really helping them develop employment land strategy. Samantha Sinella is Managing Director of Consulting Services with Cushman & Wakeman and specializes in design, management workspace, strategy, project management, and holistic building and land solutions. So again, let's give a big hand to Sam and Josh. And Josh, I want to start off by asking you, you and Joe Barrage, who I think is holidaying right now, but I know he's thinking about us, I'm sure, wherever he is. You've been planners that have worked on other innovation districts around the world. Can you tell us what interests you most about the mix? And why should tech companies even care about employment lands?
Yeah, so as urban planners and urban designers and urban strategies, we think that what's really interesting is the connection between tech and land. And obviously with tech, there's a lot of focus on the virtual world. And what's critical for tech to actually take place domestically, internationally, is for there to be a proper place and the right conditions for tech to flourish. In Canada and Ontario, as you already mentioned, Mr. Mayor, there's been a lot of success with incubation, finding the right spaces and land for incubation and for acceleration. But there's a bit of a missing piece in our ecosystem of tech and land, and that's the space for tech to scale up, for a place for tech to actually be manufactured, to be tested, to be developed and applied at a scale beyond the incubation, the acceleration, and the academic world. And that's where something like the Mix is a really exciting opportunity, where you have almost 2,000 acres, of which the City of Markham itself owns over 400 acres, and has control over some of that destiny, how to produce that land, to set the preconditions for tech to be produced and developed here at scale, both for local and domestic companies, but also to attract those international firms that obviously are looking at Canada as a potential opportunity market.
So this is an opportunity for us in Markham. Usually cities are involved in official plans and zoning and designating employment lands, but the City of Markham took a very bold step. We want to make sure that we're in control of this vision of creating the Innovation District, and so we own 400 acres directly in that 1,900 acres. And Josh, I know as part of the process, you also went out and interviewed tech companies and stakeholders that should be interested in where the future is when it comes to the development of the types of companies that you talked about. What was great for me to hear is that they were excited about this opportunity. What did they see in this in the mix?
That's right. So we reached out and spoke with real industry leaders in things like hard tech, med tech, green tech, automotive, even the film industry, even construction innovation, and asked them what they thought of this idea. And what they all said was pretty consistent with the theme, was they were looking around for places for themselves. They need land where they can imagine themselves growing, where they can imagine themselves being with other manufacturers, testers, developers at scale, so a bit of a critical mass. They spoke of the importance of having a strong partner, a municipal partner, that would not only make it easy for them to locate, but that understood the vision and wouldn't erode that vision by letting land go to the highest bidder, which would be a fulfillment warehouse, that wouldn't catalyze other kind of activity. And something that Sam will probably talk about as well is a lot of them spoke of that vision having to do with helping companies find land and let them deliver on their sustainability objectives. They want land where it screams innovation, it screams sustainability, and where they're going to locate there, it's going to be in the best quality facilities with the most beneficial impact beyond their own bottom line.
So when this is all done, it's not going to look like your typical office park of the 70s and 80s. And with that, maybe I'll switch over to Sam. And really, what are the global tech trends in the world, and real estate in particular? And how is Canada going to be able to compete on that world stage? Particularly because as much as we plan ahead, there seems to be a shortage of service land that's ready to go. So how are we going to manage to do that when we're competing with other areas?
Well, that's a very...
You're going to have to really talk into it.
Usually I can use my big Texas voice and everybody can hear me. That's a very good question. We... honestly, if Mix were ready for clients, I could have put 2 clients there this year. We have an enormous demand for service land in Canada and a shortage. We have a shortage of the right types of land, and that is the kind of land where we see central services, a collegial atmosphere, something that can attract and retain a highly educated, highly sophisticated worker. So it's not the industrial parks of the past. It's something new. And that typology we're seeing develop all around the world in new lands, and also the recreation of existing lands. So people are going back in and redeveloping their lands. There's some case studies in England that do that. But that's the kind of space we want to create here. And Josh is exactly right. The fact that you own 400 acres and you can control what a lot of that land becomes is really important to the overall vision and scale of what we create at Mix.
So you've seen our plans, you've seen some of the principles of the types of industries that we want located there. What do you think the Mix has to offer for technology companies when it comes to the jobs and the investment and really the talent that comes along with these companies?
Well, you already have a great labor pool in Markham, so that's number one. You have that ecosystem that's created there. We want to build on that. So I think, the first thing is that, that's its biggest asset. Also that you're connected to the other regions in Ontario, it's important. And you have a lot of good advantages. You're close to the 407, we have an international airport, etc. But your labor pool is number one. Number two, Canada is still very attractive to international investors. So we are seeing a lot of uptake, especially since the pandemic, of international folks wanting to come over, wanting to manufacture in Canada because of our strong politically stable climate. We weathered the pandemic very well, which a lot of countries didn't. And they look at that and they say, okay, if they can succeed during these challenging times, then this is the place where we want to invest. So we hope to build on that and attract some really good investors to Markham area.
Mark hasn't given me the sign yet, so I'm going to ask you one more question that wasn't on the agenda. But I do want to know, when you take a look at the Mix, the 1,900 acres, where it's positioned within the GTA, the types of industries that we're going to try to attract, the labor pool that we currently have, what is this potential? You've been a part of other innovation districts. You work at attracting companies. What is the potential of the Mix?
Well, as I said, I could have put 2 clients here this year. I think it has great potential to fill up faster than you can probably meet the demand for. So, we've got a servicing company working on the strategy with us. That, of course, is critical to get that up and running. But, this can become its own node in a matter of a decade. So, usually we look long-term, 20, 25 years out. I think within a decade, if we can meet the demand, it's going to be a major destination for international investors.
So the Collision Conference brought us good luck 3 years ago when we announced the mix. We have been working with a large investor that may actually kick it off, and we hope to have some good news. So hopefully we can continue to build on the momentum here. And all of us really look forward to your recommendations as we evolve and continue with making sure the vision that we have becomes a reality. And please stick around and get a chance to talk to Josh and Samantha and some of our economic development people that are here. And next we're going to profile a couple of companies that saw the merit of coming to Markham and why they chose the City of Markham to open up their new operation. So we're going to do a quick little change set. Let's thank Samantha and Josh for being here today. Thank you. So next we do want to highlight some of the investment that is coming to Markham, and we have an opportunity to showcase two great companies that have decided to come to the City of Markham. And while they're in the early beginnings, you never know. They may be one of our companies that eventually move up to the mix. And these investments really do demonstrate the collaboration that we have between Markham, York Region, and Toronto Global. So first of all, we want to take an opportunity to use this occasion at Collision to welcome to the City of Markham Syntronic, who's putting in their new office and expansion into Markham and York Region. And over the past year, the City of Markham, particularly our economic development team, worked very closely with Toronto Global and Syntronic to establish the footprint and effectively integrate into Markham's ecosystem. And we want to say thanks to Syntronic's Canadian team for partnering with us on this special announcement today that marks the official launch of Syntronic's Design Center in Markham, which really is a key to the map. Oh, sorry, okay, thank you. Really focuses on the Design Center in Markham and the company's roadmap and their first design center here in Ontario. Syntronic, a Swedish-based global engineering design house, has chosen Markham for the density of our tech talent and the strategic location and the proximity to the customers that they want to serve. Syntronic has an ambitious growth plan for the company's location. They will be adding 125 positions in the next 3 years. So that's a great addition to our workforce. Syntronic has proved to be an excellent example of effective and direct foreign investment and increasing their Canadian footprint. For this portion of the program, I'd like to invite a representative of Syntronic, followed by our strategic partners, Toronto Global, and then York Region Chair Wayne Emerson. All will finish off their comments with a ribbon cutting to mark Syntronic's entry into the City of Markham. So please help me welcome Daryl Wellington, Senior Vice President of Syntronic Canadian Operation. Welcome, Daryl.
Hi everyone, thanks. Thanks Mayor Scarpitti for the introduction. I hope and believe we can live up to these high expectations. It is really great to be part of the amazing announcements here at Collision. For us, Syntronic is a Swedish-based global design house developing all types of software, hardware, electrical mechanics, and test systems across the full product life cycle from concept to end of life. Our intent is to expand our global footprint into the GTA area to access our customers, some of whom are here today, as well as hiring the established tech talent in the area and also junior and new grad talent. We're anticipating to leverage the region's ability to attract newcomers to Canada as well. Last but not least, there is no shortage of innovative product companies in the region, which is also very apparent today at a Collision. To give you some background on how we made it here today and chose Markham, we were introduced to the Toronto area by Toronto Global. They provided us a lot of support and information as well as connections to open our design center here. That included narrowing in on the specific region and an introduction to the Markham team. The Markham team kind of took over from there, and we worked closely with them to choose the right location. We haven't quite opened the office, but we're about ready to do that, and created a number of introductions to post-secondary institutions as well as supporting agencies in the area. I also want to acknowledge the support and energy of Urban Alain, who is the Swedish ambassador to Canada. He wanted to be here today, but he unfortunately had to run back to Sweden, and helping get our message out across Canada, really. He's also connected us to the local Swedish community. I managed to get to meet Matt Sundin just 2 weeks ago here. So it's one of the benefits of being part of a Swedish company. You get to meet some Swedish celebrities. In closing, we have ambitious plans for our Markham Design Center. We're looking to grow to more than 125 people. Maybe it might take us more than 3 years, but we might make it faster. And hopefully even set up a second design center in the area somewhere. If you'd like to chat, we have a booth just on the other side of this stage. And if you're looking for a job, stop by. Thanks.
Well, thank you very much, Daryl, for enlightening us on your reasons for coming to Markham. And as you said, a number of people worked to bring you here. And next, I want to bring up Stephen Lund from Toronto Global. Really, he's been a great partner with Syntronic and another company that we'll feature in a couple of minutes. And Stephen, to you and your team, I thank you for the work that you do for all of the municipalities throughout the Greater Toronto Area. And I will say, we've welcomed your presence because you have recognized the opportunity for investment in every corner of the GTA. So please welcome Stephen Lund.
Hey everybody, can you guys hear me okay? Oh yeah. Daryl, thanks. You'll notice that Lund is a Swedish name, and I'll accept any invite over to Sweden at any point. So first of all, welcome to Collision. Record numbers, great turnout. Mayor Scarpitti talked about the secret sauce in Markham. I think one of the secret sauces in Markham is you've got great leadership with your mayor and your regional chair, Wayne Emerson. So they've been a real pleasure to work with. They're so focused on driving the economy, but driving that region to great success. And you heard earlier that Markham is the tech center of Canada. And so if we're talking to companies, it's number one. It's an easy sell for us, and then we introduce them to the teams, and it's magic. And I also want to have a big shout out to the Markham Economic Development folks, the York Region folks. They're great partners, and the admin teams in both. It's truly a pleasure to work with. And also a shout out to my team at Toronto Global. So you're in good hands, Daryl, in Markham, in the York Region, and we're looking forward to seeing you grow to great success. And we're looking forward to working with the chair and the mayor for many more in the future. So thanks so much, and I'll pass it back to the mayor. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Stephen. And again, we really do appreciate the team and the collaboration with Toronto Global. And next, Stephen referenced our chair for York Region, Wayne Emerson. And again, if the team from York Region could just raise their hand, I just want to acknowledge great staff at York Region. And really, they are part of the recipe. When we talk about the secret sauce, they are part of the recipe. So please welcome the chair of York Region, Wayne Emerson.
Well, thanks, Mayor Scarpitti, and good afternoon, everyone. And I have to say, too, that our team at York Region is second to none. They've got one of the best booths, if not the best booth, in collision. So I really want to thank the staff for all the hard work over the last few months putting this all together. On behalf of York Regional Council and the Regional Municipality of York, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Syntronic Canada to York Region. York Region is one of the fastest growing and diverse communities in Canada. As the country's second largest tech hub, York Region is a destination of choice for both business and talent. We are also home to a highly educated, skilled workforce with over 50% having a post-secondary education in business administration, engineering, science, or information technology. By 2051, we are anticipated to be more than 2 million people and 1 million jobs. To accommodate this growth and meet the challenging needs of our residents, we must attract businesses that offer residents high-quality jobs close to home. To achieve this, Regional Council remains committed to fostering an environment that attracts and retains talent and grows employment opportunities and innovation. Through partnerships with York University, Senate College, Venture Lab, and Toronto Global, we really appreciate all the work you do. We are expanding these opportunities and providing residents with the option to live, learn, and work in their communities. So over the next 3 years, Syntronic Canada will bring over 100 new jobs to the City of Markham, helping to fuel the post-pandemic recovery of our communities. Again, I will extend my appreciation to Syntronic Canada for choosing York Region for the expansion of your operation. We look forward to continued collaboration and thank you for your commitment to economic vitality of our community. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the conference.
So we've done a lot of things virtually over the last couple of years, and we're going to have a real ribbon cutting to welcome Syntronic to the City of Markham. So let's have our ribbon and invite the rest of the team up. Yep.
All right. Thanks,
We've got one more company we wish to profile. And we're very proud in the City of Markham to welcome Astera Labs, a fast-growing fabless semiconductor company that represents another important global investment in the City of Markham. This past May, I had the pleasure of joining our strategic partners, again, Toronto Global and York Region, to attend the official launch of Astera Labs' new office and the first Canadian Research and Development Center outside the U.S., focusing on developing intelligent connectivity solutions for machine learning and AI structure. Astera Labs chose Markham and York Region to tap into the fastest growing tech talent markets in North America. We're very excited to have Astera Labs and their future growth plans. Already, Astera has added 10 employees to its design center in Markham and is actively recruiting. There's jobs over here for more engineering talent from across multiple disciplines to support end-to-end product development. Please join me for this announcement as a key representative of Astera Labs, Satish, who is the site lead for Astera Canadian operations and truly instrumental in Astera's expansion to Markham. Indeed, Satish himself is part of that local talent pool. He graduated from the University of Toronto with a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. He then founded Chipmunk Consulting and still holds an advisory board position. Satish has spent the last decade working with major semiconductor companies like Microsoft, AMD, Qualcomm, and Intel. Satish, thank you very much for joining us today, and come up and say a few words as to why you chose Markham and now that you're part of the Markham family. Welcome, Satish.
All right, thank you, Mayor Scarpitti. I appreciate the introduction. So it's going to be hard to outdo a ribbon cutting ceremony, but I'll try. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm really glad to be here. It's my first time at Pavilion, but it's also my first conference that I'm attending in person after 2 years. So it's really nice to put on a pair of pants, get out of the house, and see some real faces. So I'd like to give a bit of background about myself and the journey here. So as the mayor let you guys know, I started Chipmunk Consulting back in 2016. And Chipmunk was a company that worked with early stage semiconductor startups. Essentially, we met with startups that were at a very early stage in their, I would say, startup journey. Maybe they had a prototype, they were trying to raise funding or find product market fit. And in the 5 years that I ran the company, I worked with all kinds of startups around the world. So some of the startups that I worked with did very well, and some failed. And so I think over the years, I kind of developed an idea for what it takes for a semiconductor startup company to be successful. There's a few key ingredients. Of course, there's luck is a big part of it, but there are a few key ingredients that matter. You have your usual ingredients, that is the founding team, the product, but a key aspect that sometimes is overlooked is location. Location matters, and it could be a controversial statement today with all the working from home initiative that's been going on. But with a hardware startup in particular, considering that often there's a lab set up and you're working on a prototype, some amount of in-person collaboration is required, and so location plays a key role. So I'd like to add 3 parts of location that really make a difference here. One of the things that matters, and location plays a key part, is talent pool. It's important to have a network of universities in the area that have strong STEM programs, but also established companies where you can tap into veteran talent. Right? Like startups are great, but often people don't know what they're doing. and having a veteran leader guide a startup is important. So having that talent pool in the area is essential. And another part that really matters is infrastructure. You know, we need infrastructure to really be able to grow from a startup and beyond. And you know, things like highways, public transit, bike lanes, affordable office space, business parks, these are essential as well, especially when a company tries to go from a startup stage and beyond. And the last thing is the ecosystem, you know, having incubators, hardware catalysts, and initiatives by the city. Right? So these are the three things that really matter when you're picking a location for a startup. And so just to get back to the story, in 2018 I met Astera Labs. They were a team of about 10 engineers in Silicon Valley. And the founders, they saw that the data center is really the future. Right? Everything we do these days goes through the data center. And there's a lot of issues in the data center. I'm not going to bore you guys with it, but there's a lot of connectivity problems in the modern data center. And the founding team came up with a unique product that would address this connectivity problem. So, you know, long story short, they executed on their vision. They did very well, and you know, the last 3 years have been incredible. So then in 2021, a bit of balancing act here. Yeah, in 2021, as part of the company's expansion, they decided that they wanted to open a second design center outside of Silicon Valley, and they picked the GTA as that spot. Right? And at that point, I joined them full time. I joined as their site lead and engineering director. And my first task was to find a spot within the GTA that you know would help the company, and not just as a startup stage that they were back then, but also scale. And I evaluated different parts of the GTA, and Markham was a clear winner for me. You know, I looked at everything and I evaluated against the talent pool, infrastructure, ecosystem, and all these metrics. Markham was an obvious choice, right? So, talent pool, we have a network of great tech companies in the area, especially in the semiconductor space. And as you saw with Syntronics moving here, even more companies coming in. There's a great infrastructure in place. You know, I remember being an intern working at AMD and taking an express bus from Finch into Markham. It took me 40 minutes to get from downtown to Markham, right? And that's great for especially young talent that live around the university downtown or want to live in the city. So that great infrastructure, affordable office space, and a great ecosystem. You know, we really got a lot of support from the City of Markham, Toronto Global. We have Venture Lab, which is a great hardware catalyst program. So, taking all these things into account, Markham has really been a spot. So we're really excited. And in April, we did our own ribbon cutting ceremony, and we officially opened the doors to our Markham office. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to give a bit of a plug for Astera Labs here because we are hiring and trying to grow. So, you know, it's a growing company. I would say it's beyond the startup at this point. We're what I like to call a scale-up, which we're in this tricky stage where we're beyond startup. We're trying to scale our operations and get bigger. We're currently hiring into our engineering team. We're looking to hire about 50 people by the end of the year. At this point, just an update on the count, we have hired 15 people in the last 6 months. So, and we're seeing that growing. We're looking to double to maybe 80 to 100 people next year, and eventually maybe we'll be able to get to the size of the IBM campus. That would be nice. That's aspirational. We're also building out a lab infrastructure. We're investing money into setting up a state-of-the-art lab. We want to be able to handle everything from architecture to design, manufacturing, and customer delivery, all here in Markham. So in a way, we're setting up a complete business unit, and we would really like to grow and expand our Markham site, right? And again, it taps back into the location, the talent pool. I think, you know, I really see a great future for this moving ahead. So we're hiring into our engineering team. We're also hiring new grads and interns, and we also set up community outreach programs to reach and invest into the local community. So yeah, so just to conclude, it was an obvious choice for me to set up shop in Markham. And I look forward to growing our presence here and becoming an integral part of the tech landscape. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Satish, and we're going to get a quick picture with you and the chair of York Region. And again, thank you for your confidence and belief in Markham and the talent pool that we have in the city of Markham. So once again, thank you very much for joining us to hear about the Mix, the Markham Innovation Exchange. Welcome to Syntronic, welcome to Astera Labs, and really say thank you for your belief in Markham, and look forward to spending more time with all of you and addressing some of the questions you may have. Come and join York Region, come and join the City of Markham. It is the place for high tech in Canada. Thank you. And here's Mr. Tech himself, Mark Salzman.